My Lord and my God, I firmly believe that you are here, that you see me, that you hear me. I adore you with profound reverence. I ask your forgiveness for my sins and the grace to make this time of prayer fruitful. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me. Jesus, we hear today in the Gospel these famous words of yours. You say, "You have learnt how it was said, you must not commit adultery. But I say this to you, if a man looks at a woman lustfully, he has already committed adultery with her in his heart." Jesus, we come before you today with sincerity, with humility, with an awareness of our own weaknesses, our own struggles, but also, Jesus, with faith in you, you who transform hearts, you who set captives free, you who teach us how to love. We come before you also, Jesus, with a desire, with a desire in our hearts to grow in holiness, to not be satisfied with just ticking the boxes or keeping the rules or maintaining a kind of minimalist morality, but rather a desire for what you desire for us, Jesus. A desire for interior conversion, for the conversion and the transformation of our hearts. Desire of our hearts to burn with your love, Jesus. This month we venerate in a particular way your Sacred Heart. And that image of your Sacred Heart is a heart that is on fire with love. Jesus, sometimes this image of fire is used also to represent passion. Someone who is burning with desire, which may prompt him or her, cause him or her to live beneath his or her dignity, his or her call to holiness, to greatness, to love, Jesus. And the beautiful thing about this image of the Sacred Heart, Jesus, is your heart is not a heart of ice. Your solution is not just to pour cold water on us, Jesus, to take away any or all of our desires, but to make them right, to turn them towards you, to let us burn, not with passion, but with love, with your love, Jesus, with a love that sacrifices itself, that empties itself, that pours itself out for the other. Whereas lust, Jesus, that you speak of today in the Gospel, to look upon another with lust in our hearts, that you equate to committing adultery, to wake up in us the seriousness of our interior lives and our thoughts and the way that we gaze upon others. Lust is the opposite of this. Instead of responding to the call to sacrifice myself out of love for the other person because of their dignity, out of love for them, lust is sacrificing the other person, sacrificing their dignity for my sake. for my own passing pleasures or desires, to use them as if they were a thing. Jesus, it's there that we see that lust is truly myopic. It's truly short-sighted. That lust is responding to only the surface. And so it is truly a superficial and a stinted vision of reality, vision of others, vision of the human person, way of living, because it is essentially saying you are only your attractiveness, you are only your external appearance, or you are only worth the pleasure or the desire that you provoke in me. And that is how I will evaluate you. And it is with that vision that I will look at you, which is why someone who looks at another with lust in his or her heart can move from one person to the next, to the next, to the next, as long as they are providing or provoking pleasure or desire, without considering their personhood or their dignity or their worth, missing altogether the mystery and the marvel of the human soul that is embodied before us. Whereas your gaze, Jesus, the way that you looked at people, in the gospel we hear many times of you looking at someone with love. Your gaze is a gaze that sees the soul. Your gaze is a gaze that sees how much someone is worth, even if they themselves don't know and are not living according to their worth and their dignity. Your gaze, Jesus says, I see you. I see you beyond what you think about yourself, beyond what others say about you, beyond all the appearances. I see your heart and I see your soul, and I love you. And I'm willing to sacrifice myself for you. Jesus, you also say in the Sermon on the Mount, blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God. It is the pure of heart who can see the invisible, who can perceive the spiritual, who can look beyond the superficial. It is the pure of heart who can see things as they are. Jesus, we repent. We repent for every time that we have not looked beyond the surface, or every time that we have remained on the surface. An attitude that is constantly encouraged, that is even formed by the culture that we live in, the culture of the image, of the sensual, that is always seeking to stimulate our senses, to attract our attention, and to provoke our desires. Jesus, teach us to turn away, to not be taken in and taken along with the stream of sensuality that is our culture, but to pause, to look at natural and beautiful things, to reflect and to contemplate, to sit in silence and to appreciate beauty, to see reality as it is in its fullness with pure hearts, and by the gift of faith, to be able to perceive the spiritual in the dignity and the value of every single soul that we look upon, and in the presence of the angels all around us, and the presence of you, Jesus, hidden behind the appearances of bread and wine and the Eucharist, and in your presence in us by grace, to see you with pure hearts. And so to love those that you love with your heart, to have your gaze, Jesus, to have your heart within us, to have our hearts and our eyes, our minds conform to you, so that by your love within us, Jesus, we may love as you love and as you call us to love. with purity of heart. I thank you, my God, for the good resolutions, affections, and inspirations that you have communicated to me in this time of prayer. I ask your help to put them into effect. My Immaculate Mother, Saint Joseph, my Father and Lord, my guardian angel, intercede for me.